they told me that I should just abort him. And the reason why was because he had a cleft lip, he had a cleft palate, he had many holes in his heart. He also had something wrong, they said, with the right side of his face. They weren't sure what was wrong with his face.
I received this baby and I saw, you don't see babies like that.
So ukasikia hiyo camp na sasa uko hapa?
Nilifika asubuhi.
So umeenda through the tests?
Yeah, nimeenda zote, niko almost kumaliza.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for always coming back to watch my videos. This is the health agenda on Up Close with Priscilla, where we cover all matters health as we tour different health facilities and engage different health specialists to showcase to you the available medical options there is. So if you're new here, karibu sana. My name is Priscilla, and as always, I'm glad to have you on my channel. If you have not subscribed, please consider pressing that subscribe button and join the family. If you like what we do, don't forget to press the like button and show us some love. So guys, we are here. I'm coming to you live from the AAR Hospital along Kiambu Road, and we are all about the cleft lip and palate campaign that is happening here at the AAR Hospital in Kiambu, where the whole country, all people from all over the country have come here to seek medical treatment for cleft lip and palate. So this video will be about that, and I'm so glad to have you stick to the end, and if you like, leave a comment and tell us what you think about this video. So guys, without further ado, let's get straight to it.
So guys, I'm here with Reverend Dr. Joshua, who has traveled all the way from the US to come and help these patients who are cleft lip, cleft palate. So Dr. Joshua, welcome so much to the show.
Thank you so much.
We're glad to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. So tell us exactly, what is your insight about you traveling all the way to Kenya to just attend this medical camp?
Well, this medical camp is built around a young man named Phillip Mathews, who sadly has passed away. But I knew Phillip when he went to the school that I teach at and work at in America. And he was one of my students. I was the chaplain there, and so I got to know Phillip very well. And Phillip first led us on a missions trip, a medical missions trip, with a group of students from the school to India. And that was just before he graduated. And so I had a lot of respect for Phillip. He went through a lot. He suffered, but he always had a great attitude, and he was super strong. In many ways, he's a hero to me. A lot of times when I go through difficult things, I look at a picture that I have in my house, and I see him there, and I remember all the things that he went through, and I realize that whatever I'm going through is nothing compared to what he went through. And so that kind of inspired us to do another trip when his younger brother came through, and that's why we're here, and very excited to be in Kenya. Love Kenya so far, so I'm glad to be here.
Hi, my name is Susan Mathews. I'm the co-founder of Love Without Reason. We're a global nonprofit organization that is headquartered in the US. We have branches in Love Without Reason, Kenya, which was started in 2020. Love Without Reason was founded because of the journey of my firstborn son, Phillip. My husband and I have 3 children, Phillip, Sarah, and Caleb. And Phillip lived for 19 years. He's now with the Lord. But because of our experiences with Phillip, we decided to do this work to be able to impact lives of children that are born just like my son. When I was pregnant with Phillip, at the time I was about 5 months pregnant, I went for my routine ultrasound. And during that scan, the doctors told me that my baby would be born dead. They told me that I should just abort him. And the reason why was because he had a cleft lip, he had a cleft palate, he had many holes in his heart. He also had something wrong, they said, with the right side of his face. They weren't sure what was wrong with his face. The life-threatening problem was that they couldn't find his stomach in the ultrasound. So they told me he'll be born dead, and the best thing that they could advise me to do was to go ahead and end the pregnancy, and I could have other children. But I didn't want to do that. This was my first baby, and as a mother, you're looking forward to so many dreams for your children, and this was not what I had expected to hear from my doctor. So I told them I didn't want to have an abortion. I wanted this baby. And they told me to go and think about it and go and see other doctors, and then they would review the baby again.
So guys, I'm here with Mr. Santhosh Mathews, who is the CEO and founder of Love Without Reasons, and he's here to share his insights on why and how he founded this good initiative. Mr. Santhosh, welcome very much to the show.
Asante sana.
Yes, we are glad to have you here.
Thank you.
You've always said that you're called the happy man.
Yes,
So
yes.
we can begin from there.
So my name is Santhosh.
Yes.
Santhosh in the Indian language means happy. Yeah. And in the Spanish language and the Latin languages, it is called blessed and saint. So I always call myself a happy, blessed saint, you know. And when I come to Kenya, they call me Furaha.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
guys, he's so jovial in person, and
Thank
he's here to share his journey on how he began Love Without Reasons. So we can get straight to it.
We can get straight to it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an engineer. I'm an IT engineer. I'm an electrical electronics engineer and an IT engineer. So I started my life with my wife, and things were going well. I did my MBA, so I was going up the career, you know, corporate ladder. Things were going well. But along the way, of course, the story of my son, which was said by my wife, my son was born with a lot of facial deformities. I, as a highly educated man, I say that, I had no idea what a cleft lip meant before my son was born. Because I did not take the time to go and research when the doctor told me your child will be born with a cleft lip. I didn't go take the time to go and research what a cleft lip or a cleft palate would be. So what I did was I told everybody my son is going to have a cleft lip and a palate, but I had no clue. So the day he was born, the doctors gave him to me, and I received this baby, and I saw, you know, you don't see babies like that.
Yeah.
What I saw was a child completely deformed, and I panicked. I was not prepared for it, you know. And I remember I was trembling, holding the baby. I was afraid that I would drop. That's yes.
Scope of cleft lip.
Correct.
What the doctors were telling
Correct.
you in the act.
Correct. You know, we look at babies, we expect them to be beautiful and cute and all those things. What I saw was terrible.
Even though I heard many reports from the heart doctor, they told me that Phillip had so many holes in his heart, they couldn't even count how many holes he had. So they told me there would be so many problems, even if he survived, but we kept holding on to God's word. And as the days went by, I was now 6 months pregnant, and we went for another scan. And the doctor asked me, "Are you ready to complete the abortion, to do the abortion?" And I said, "No, we didn't decide on that. We're not going to do an abortion." And so he said, "Okay, reviewing all of these doctor's reports, and you're still agreeing, you still want to proceed with the pregnancy, let me do an ultrasound." So they began the ultrasound, and the first words out of his mouth was, "I don't know where it came from, but I see your baby's stomach right where it's supposed to be." So all the other problems were there, but he has a stomach and he has a chance to live. And so the rest of the pregnancy went fine. Phillip was born alive on July 27, 2000. When they scanned his face and his brain after his birth, they told me that he didn't have an eye or an ear on the right side, and his jaw was very small. He was missing the center part of his brain. So they told us that he would never walk, and he would never talk, and he'd never be able to go to school, and that he would never be able to be a student, or even be able to get out of the bed. He may be bedridden for the rest of his life with developmental and mental delays.
I was ready to run because I did not know how to take care of a child like this. So when I took him in my hands and I looked at him, and then my wife asked for him, and I gave him to her, and she looked at him and she was like, "Oh, this is such a beautiful baby," and she was giving her love, handsome boy, and I did not see that. I looked over to see the same baby or not, because it was a very difficult thing for a person to handle. It was the day after that when the doctor came and said that a part of his brain is missing. And as I started to look at this child, I started to see that this child needed me. And then I started to see that he had his one eye open, his right eye was closed and his left eye was open. And the way he looked at me with so much gratitude, just saying, "Papa, thank you."
And expectations of a father.
It just blew me away. I fell in love with my son. And that was the beginning of our journey. It was after about 6.5 years, almost 7 years after that, is when I started to find out that I'm not the only guy who has this cleft lip or a palate problem, child. There are other people in this world that have the same problem. And so God had blessed me. I had a good career and all that. I thought, why don't I just take the time to help another child, just one child. That was my simple thing. I just wanted to help one child. And that's where the journey began.
And the holes of his heart, we were planning on an operation when he turned 1 year old to fix the very large hole. But before they did that surgery, they scanned Philip's heart, and every hole had closed all by themselves without any heart surgery. So we continued to see Philip grow and thrive, and soon he started to crawl, he started to walk, he started to communicate. In the first 3 years, he would just communicate with sign language. But after his sister was born, things started to work within him, and he began to talk. And he went into the school, and by the time his little brother was born, Caleb was born, the state that we live in evaluated Philip and said he has no mental or developmental delays, and he's ready to go to the regular school with all the other children.
Okay.
Yeah.
So probably you can, taking you back to Philip, you have been his teacher personally.
Yes.
So what was now the feel of interacting with him personally in relation now to what exactly is happening now?
Philip, when he was first born, his parents told the story, of course, they didn't think he would be able to speak, let alone learn. And the school that he is at, Macaulay School in Chattanooga, Tennessee, is an elite prep school. It's very hard to get in there. But he was able to get in there, and he did very well. And I think he had so much more than just a cleft palate. He had so many other issues going on. And I think sometimes, it took people a bit, even the students a bit, to get used to him. Everybody was always kind to him, but it took a little bit to get comfortable with him. And the thing that was really strong about Phillip was his personality. And I think he had such a strong personality that was so charismatic and so kind and so full of joy that it allowed him to really be able to draw people in, despite some of the deformities that he had, you know, and some of the physical struggles that he had. And so looking at these kids today, you know, a lot of these kids don't have near the struggles that Phillip had. And so a simple surgery can fix a lot of things so that people are comfortable approaching them, and they don't get stigmatized.
So Phillip continued his education and he completed his 12th grade. He graduated with his diploma. He had an acceptance letter into the university, and his decision was that he wanted to take time off, not go to university first, but work with Love Without Reason. And he was the reason, when through Phillip going through all these 24 surgeries at that time, it's the reason why we started this organization, because we know the pain of these parents who are giving birth to these children and they feel like they have no hope. And they think that there's nothing left for them. They have the community rejects them, just like they did with me and with Phillip. They didn't want to accept him because he was different.
Kids that have situations like me, they don't have anything, and that's why Love Without Reason is there, so that we can give them confidence in themselves and that they would have a brighter future.
So guys, I'm here with one of the patients who has appeared for the camp and for this training. So she's going on with the process, na ako hapa kutuambia how it has been the experience of raising a cleft-lipped baby. So karibu sana.
Asante.
Utaanza kujiintroduce, utuambie jina yako ni nani? Yeah, na pia mtoto.
Okay, mimi naitwa Mary.
Okay.
Nimetoka huko Ngong. Nikakuja huku, tuliona posta.
Okay. Uliona posta wapi?
Posta ilitoka mbali, okay. Ilitoka Eldoret. Ni mtu alipata akanipigia simu. Akaniambia date na camp. So nikajiprepare, tukakuja leo.
Okay. So Mary, thank you so much for consenting to take this interview. Now advice was say what is all about cleft lip. Ukiwapatia your story now that you're a living mom of a cleft lip baby. So unaweza tuambia from the start, wewe ulikuwa unajua hizi stories za cleft lip before upate mtoto?
No.
She is your firstborn?
Yes, he's my firstborn. Sikuwa nimesikia. Sikuwa nimeona.
So how did you discover that now? Did you discover utaza mtoto cleft lip?
No.
Oh, ulinzaa tu?
Yes, nilionyeshwa after deliver.
Okay.
Ndio nilionyeshwa mtoto. Wakaniandikia ni cleft palate.
Okay.
Wakaniambia nisinyonyeshe mtoto. Na sasa unajua utafuata vile daktari anakuambia. So nikasikia na nikafuata. After 1 week nikarealize ni cleft lip peke yake. Na nikaendelea kumnyonyesha. Challenges ziko sangi.
Okay. So what are the challenges? Take yako vile uliona mtoto wako after giving birth. Nini ilikustrike kwa mind? Like uliitekaje na sasa?
You know, ukiona na ujaiona utafikiria mtoto hayuko normal.
Yeah.
Sasa nilimwangalia hivi nikaona what next? Yenyewe nilishtuka na nikaambia tu hapa ni Mungu.
Okay.
Haikuwa rahisi for the first week, nikakaa hospitali. Ile kushtuka.
Kupatia some form of counseling ama?
No. Ile kushtuka, maziwa ikapotea. Sasa ile usiku akakuwa na nipush niache stress, lakini sasa unaona mtoto wa kwanza lazima ile kushtuka.
So what are the challenges in Koki face like a cleft lip?
Hii ni lip.
Okay.
Hii ya lip.
Okay.
So unajua mtu yeye akilala kuna ile mdomo ishikani.
Okay.
So you need kumfunika at least hewa isinini.
Okay. Kwa hiyo
sometimes
hewa ikiingia anaweza choka. So unamfunika na?
Unamfunika sasa, kama amelala hivi namwekelea kitambaa tu isimguze uso.
Alright.
Saa zingine ikunywa anatapika. Vitu kama hizo.
Na challenges like watu wana mtoto wako aje?
Wengine unaenda wakiona mtoto anashtuka. Wanakuuliza mtoto alifanya nini? Unaambia tu ulimzaa hivyo. Wanaanza kukuuliza kwa nini? Unaambia tu ni maumbile. Anaweza kuambia daktari alikwambia kosi ni nini? Unaambia ukuambiwa.
So ukasikia hiyo camp na sasa uko hapa?
Nilifika asubuhi.
So umeenda through the tests?
Nimeenda zote, niko almost kumaliza.
So unaweza ambiaje wasee huko nje wenye like labda wana reacting to cleft children? Unaweza waambiaje?
Naweza ambia hii si big issue.
Na si abnormality.
Si abnormality. Mtoto wako sawa, iko treated. Hata mtoto akishashona uwezi
through surgery.
Through surgery. Uwezi notice. Kuna watoto huko nje wako na mashida mingi.
Hata kuliko hii.
Hata kuliko hii. Sasa hii si shida kubwa vile. Na mtu akisikia hii camp afadhali kujifikisha. Hata kama iko faje, unaona wanafanya free. Na place zote wanafanya free. So it's the best.
As a doctor, I've noted you've talked about things like these patients go through cleft lip, like getting bullied, stigmatization, and a lot of things that are happening around even trafficking and slavery, child slavery, because they're seen as probably in African setting they could be seen as outcasts. So can you just brief us on that?
I think it's really hard, especially with the trafficking, and we got to see this in India. We went to some of the orphanages where kids were rescued, and you'd see young children, like girls as young as 6 or 7 years old, that were rescued from the sex trafficking industry. But specifically, children with facial deformities, they become commodities. And so they become like, well, whether it's organs that they harvest from them, whether they become, abused, they get stuck back in back rooms, slave labor and stuff like that, where they just have to do things for other people. There's all kinds of awful, kind of atrocious things that can happen to young people with facial deformities, because it's very easy to dismiss them as not being human. Well, you're not really human because you're not like me. And so, if we kill you and take your organs, or if we put you in a back room and make you work, or if we do other things to you, it doesn't matter. And I think that's one of the things that happens a lot of times, and parents don't know what to do.
I decided, I'm going to start this organization, and Susan and I decided to start it, and we decided to help children that have cleft lip and palate, and also those that are trafficked in human trafficking networks. So when I started it, I was very happy. I knew that I'm going to help other people, and I had all these plans, but the problem is nobody knew me. They didn't trust me. They did not know if I was serious. So I spent 5 years trying to do one surgery, because I went about 27 times to India. I went to different countries trying to find doctors and medical staff and hospitals that will work with me. But it so happened, I'm an IT guy, I'm an electrical engineer, MBA, but I don't have a medical background. So 5 years, 27 trips later, we found our first baby, and that did not, we couldn't do the surgery. Then we went back, and then we found another 2 babies, and then we were able to do both of their surgeries. So it started like that. It was a very complicated, very difficult process.
Phillip had his 25th surgery in October of 2019. It was a stomach ulcer that just kind of leaked through, and he developed an infection and had to have emergency surgery in his stomach. And after that, he recovered from surgery, but his lungs began to fail, and soon we had to release him to the Lord.
I do know that there's specialists that are here to look at the different things, whether it's the nutrition of the child, whether the child will be able to go through the anesthesia. There's specialists to look at that. There's the pediatric doctors who are looking at the children as are they developmentally in a place? And then of course the doctors who are the surgical doctors and who are looking at it and saying, hey, is this possible? Can we do the surgery? A young boy just came through, has already had 2 surgeries and he was not going to be able to have another surgery until he was at least a few years older. And the combination of all those specialists looking at it, another child was not able to have surgery because they were just so little, they were too tiny. And then the anesthesiologist is like, I can't give them, and the child needs to be a year or 2 older. A lot of it has to do with the age, the nutrition, the health of the child, whether they've had prior surgeries. And so all those specialists are able to do that, to look at that, to help that kind of make that happen.
But on that last day, we made a promise to Philip that we would continue to love the Lord and we would continue to serve God because God is always good. And we told Philip that we would continue his dream. And his dream was, I want to work until the world is cleft free. And I want to work until there are no more children sold into slavery. That was his dream. And that is the commitment that Santhosh and I have made, that we will work to fulfill Philip's dream. So thank you for being a part of it. And God bless you.
Thank you very much for that. But I won't allow you to leave before I ask you this question. Have you been to Kenya before?
This is my first time in Kenya.
How is your experience?
Well, it's very exciting. I've been to different places in Africa, and I love Africa. It's so diverse and it's so beautiful. We've been doing a lot of work with the camp, and so I haven't really had a chance to do much touristy stuff and get out. But the thing that has been awesome is the Kenyans. The people are awesome. Like, everybody's funny. You can joke around with them. I just met this guy over here behind the camera, and we're making jokes and calling each other nicknames and stuff like that. And the people are very kind, very fun-loving, and just charismatic. And so that's been the best part of Kenya so far. We get to go on a safari later on in the week, and we're going to do all of those touristy things. But so far, the people have been the best thing. So yeah, and the food has also been very
What's
good.
What's your best food so far?
Oh man, we've had so many different things.
Have you tasted ugali? It's so famous in Samaki.
No, I haven't tried any of those things.
Our authentic fish.
No, we have had fish. We've had fish, but I don't know what they are. I just know they put the food out. And obviously, you look at me, I eat the food. So
and there's this ugali you should also try. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
As I was doing my research concerning the cleft lip and palate, I also wanted to know what is it that causes this. And as I was maneuvering the different journals and articles, even through the internet, they were stressing that it's not the fault of the dad or mom.
No.
There's nothing causing, although they would look at different probably medication and environmental exposures that would cause this. But at the end of the manuscript, they would say, this is not accurate information.
Right.
All we know, it's a congenital birth defects that are formed.
It happens. We live in a world. We have gene mutation. We have hereditary issues. This world is complicated. People have so many problems, so many issues. But these children are not born as a result of our sin or of our bad deeds or things like that, These children, again, like I said, they are a gift from God. Don't condemn yourself. Allow God to heal you. You need to be healed. Allow yourself to be healed. Allow God to heal you. Life will be good.
That's where we close.
I talk too much. Thank you, Priscilla.
Could you tell the world and people who don't know about cleft lip and palate and the effects it has on humanity?
It affects somebody's life completely. One of these surgeries changes somebody's life without a doubt. Cleft palates, they not only allow for these kids to grow up being looked down on and bullied, it gets much worse. Things like human trafficking, just because of the cleft lip. This surgery can save them from a lot of that. And so it's a big deal.
It's a simple surgery, and the benefits of it are just so vast for something that's relatively easy to do. And it's more about just showing awareness and bringing the resources to fix said surgery.
So how can people reach out to you?
Love Without Reason, you can go to any social media, any handle, that is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We have every social media active. We also have the website, that is lovewithoutreason.org. We also have our Kenyan number that you can reach us through. We have 0746 704300. Again, I repeat, 0746 704300. That is for Love Without Reason Kenya. You can reach us through that number. You can reach us through our social media accounts, and we will be glad to help you.
So guys, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. That has been an experience of the Love Without Reason campaign on Cleft Lip and Camp. We were here at the AAR where the screening and the surgeries will be taking place. I hope guys you've learned a lot about cleft lip and cleft palate. If there's anything more you'd want to know, I'll leave more information about this video on the description box down below. So be sure to check it out. So until the next one guys, keep safe.